Microphone on.
Perfect.
Okay. No power rankings this week. No power rankings. I'm going to do full playoff projections next week once we see how the bracket shapes out. I'm not going to do power rankings. Power rankings are obvious. It's Detroit at the top, all our playoff teams in the middle, and all this shit at the bottom. All right? That's what the power rankings are. I'm not going to fucking spend 5 minutes doing power rankings, okay? What I will spend time doing, exciting stuff. Playoff projections for this week in scenarios, sort of deal, right? Scenarios, what can happen? Jake and Troy play each other. Mark and Ty play each other. All four playoff teams playing each other. Interesting implications for the seedings that can go on here. And then, of course, we got the fight for the last spot into the playoffs. So we'll start at the top. Work our way down. Jake and Troy, their matchup here. Now, if Jake wins, he is automatically the 1 seed because he's got that win on Troy. If Troy wins, he is automatically the 1 seed because of the fact that he's got the points tiebreaker on Jake. He's got a lot more points than Jake, right? So if they're even in win-loss, but then Troy's going to have way more points. So if Troy wins, automatically more the 1 seed, and Jake is automatically the 2 seed because nobody else really has a chance to jump Jake for that spot. Mark would have to outscore him by 80 points. I guess it's possible. Probably not going to happen, right? So either way, Jake's the 2 seed. Troy theoretically could lose and then fall to the 3 or 4 seed. Um, if he loses and then Mark wins, or if he loses and then I win, I guess it's possible. I don't really see Troy losing this matchup. It is possible Jake could send him, Jake could potentially send him down to the 3 or down to the 4, and maybe Troy gets eliminated week 1, which would be crazy. So definitely a week that Jake and Troy are both trying to win here for their respective reasons. How the seeding from there will shake out is interesting because the 1 seed will play the 5 and 4, and then the 2 seed will play the 3 and 6. So the 2 seed will get to play our shoe-in team, or whoever wins that 3 seeded matchup, which could be me or Mark, depending on how Mark's matchup goes. Mark has a significant points lead on me, so if we both win or if we both lose, it's very likely Mark stays at the 3 and I stay at the 4. But say I win, Mark loses, that is how I could jump into that 3 seed spot. Mark and Ty are playing here. Like Ty said, Ty's not really concerned, I guess, about his matchup. If anything, he's just wanting to beat Mark to maybe play spoiler and make sure Mark doesn't, get into the bye week spot. He would hate for Mark to win, Troy to lose, and then Ty somehow plays Troy the first round or something like that, something crazy. I don't. I guess that's possible, right? If Troy falls all the way to the 4 seed. So Ty's definitely trying to win his matchup, but like he said, he doesn't care about it. It's not really going to affect him. Mark is definitely trying to win this matchup because he probably wants to hold that 3 seed, right? He doesn't want to risk dropping down, and there's the outside chance that he gets the bye if Troy loses. So Mark's trying to win this game as well. Then we go down to the real drama. It's Dan Snyder. It's Cuba Smooth. Actually, I take back what. Wait, is that possible? Yeah, it's impossible for Ty to fall out of the playoffs. He could fall down to the 6 seed though, because say Coob wins and outscores him by 20, Ty could fall to the 6 seed and Coob could move up to the 5 seed. So that's another reason Ty's trying to win this week. Doesn't really matter. I guess it just matters if he wants to be the 5 or the 6. But the way this playoffs are shaping up, you're probably looking at Troy being the 1 seed. So Ty probably, you know, Ty probably. I guess it's not true. I don't know what Ty's thinking. Just a lot of weird stuff happening because there's, however many different outcomes up there at the top. We'll see how it shakes out. The most likely scenario I think is Troy wins his matchup, Mark wins his matchup versus Ty. So Troy and Jake switch spots. Mark stays there. I stay at the 4. Mark stays at the 3, and then Ty probably outscores Coop by 20, stays at the 5. The real interesting part now is tying is Sam and Kuba head to head straight up. Sam and Kuba head to head straight up. That's their matchup. If Koob wins, he's in. If Koob wins, he's in at the 6 spot, or maybe even the 5 spot if he outscores Ty, right? But if Koob loses, he is assuredly out to Sam. Sam would jump him. if he loses um, into that spot there. So it's basically that's it. That's it. I know there were talks about could John hop over. John can hop in if Sam beats Coob and if John also wins his matchup, but he scores uh 30 more points than Sam because there's the tie. So say they both move to 7 and 6. Um and they're all, John and Sam are sitting at 7 and 6, and Coob is sitting at 6 and 8. Obviously, they're both ahead of it in win loss, and then to get in, it'll just come down to points. So Sam has to be careful. Just if Sam wins straight up, that is not necessarily a win. He has to make sure that John's team doesn't come from behind and outscore him by like 30 to get in. So that's the scenario for the last spot of the playoffs. Sacco conversation is also interesting because we got a head to head matchup between two of the worst. We got Team Mikosi and Brett, and they're both down there, right? Don't count Team Mikosi out of the Sacco just yet. He's only 2 games out of it. Things can shift really quickly in that losers bracket. You lose a couple games in a row, you go on a 3-game losing streak to end the year, you're in trouble. So Chuck has a little bit of a point buffer going into it. This could come down to points because we got Alvin, Shelvin, and Zach down there. I'd say Alvin's probably not. Alvin's least likely to be the Sacco because he's still got Hurts anchoring his team. He's got CD and Garrett Wilson and Mark Andrews and Mike Evans. Like, I don't think Alvin's actually really in the conversation. If anything, Alvin this week might do a little bit of upsetting on John and ruin his playoff hope. So I don't know that Alvin's going to be in the Sacco conversation. It's probably between Shelvin and Brett. Um, Brett's obviously 1 game behind right now. Of course, the 1 game difference doesn't really matter, in my opinion, for the Sacco. Once you get into that consolation bracket, he's probably going to get a chance to play Shelvin or Alvin or Chuck head to head again, or all three of them. So it's probably going to come down to points and who wins those head to head matchups. But if Zach does lose this week, and say, Alvin wins or Shelvin wins, that's really going to start putting him down there by himself with 3 wins. There's probably only one other 4-win team and then probably a bunch of 5-win teams. So big, big week for Brett. He can either work back in. If he gets a lot of points and he gets a win, he might find himself at number 9 or number 10. But if he loses, he's going to find himself firmly at 12 and all alone. Those are the scenarios for the playoff week, boys. Good luck to everybody. Lots of weird seeding stuff that'll be going on. If everything goes chalk, it'll be Troy 1, Jake 2, Mark 3, me 4, Ty 5, and then Coober Sam at the 6. But that could totally change. If there's an upset at the top, if there's an upset somewhere else, weird things will be going on for sure. And I'll come to you next week with the official playoff bracket and Sacco bracket projections. There you go.